so special. I think our players appreciate that. I think Coach Meyer's done an excellent job of conveying to them the history and tradition that goes with this game. But you're right, I was out here in the 90s, and it was an incredible game, an incredible event, an incredible week. And we've been here for a few days now, and it's very, very similar. It's really an awesome, awesome thing to be a part of.
I think there's a perception that had a really good sophomore season. They made the playoff, and then he's kind of, maybe it's on the West Coast, but he's kind of drifted out of the national scene. When you look at him, where does he rank in terms of quarterbacks that you guys face and talent level?
Well, he's very talented. I think one of the things is his production has dipped from that playoff year. But, you know, you got to look at surrounding cast back then. He had some incredibly fast wideouts. He has good people around him now, but I don't know if they are all at that experience level where they were that year. You know, when you have a special year like they did back then, when you go to the playoff, a lot of things click. So, but when I look at him as a quarterback, he's an outstanding quarterback. He understands, as I said earlier, their scheme very, very well, and he appears to really understand what defenses are doing. So you're not going to trick him. You're going to have to go out and out-execute him, and you know, that's what we hope to do.
Greg, I just wanted to ask one local guy question. There's a lot of preseason talk about Dallas again being aggressive. What do you like about Dallas, and what do you see for him in the future?
Dallas is going to be a really, really good football player here. He is a very, very bright guy, physically gifted as well, but really, really sharp. Has done a good job in what we've asked him to do in special teams. Understands linebacker play, is getting better and better his understanding of it. I think that another off-season program, and he's going to fit right into the mix in next year.
Greg, what does it mean to, I don't know, just to the group of Draymond announcing he's leaving, but still playing? I mean, you know, everybody expected Joey to, well, that came out of the hat before he even got to announce it. Coach Meyer announced it, but he still played in that Fiesta Bowl. Of course, he didn't play very long. But I mean, what does it mean, I guess, to the group to have a guy like Draymond stick around and still play? Because that's not around the nation, quite a few guys are stepping out.
Well, you're right on that. And first of all, it's huge because he's such a good player. That's number one. And then I think, you know, from the standpoint of the brotherhood, I think the players really appreciate, his teammates appreciate him coming out and playing, and I think Draymond will be a force.
Do you understand the discussion of when guys do decide to sit out? I mean, the game has changed a little bit, the way things work, and guys are thinking about their futures. How does a coach view that when guys make that decision?
Well, I think that's an individual choice. The game hasn't changed, though. Like, I don't buy that.
Does the context change? Does the world around it change?
I think that's what's changed.
Okay.
But I think you can say that for our whole society. I don't think it's isolated to football or anything else. But I do think that is an individual choice, and I don't get into trying to live someone else's life. I think they need to make the decision that they think best suits their life, just as I have to make those decisions, you have to make, and we all do.
It is as simple as money talks and other stuff walks, though, isn't it? I mean,
I don't know that. I don't know that to be sure. Like I said, you can't get into someone's mind and know what drives their decision making. Sometimes it's other people's opinions, sometimes it's their own, sometimes, most of the time, it's a combination of those. So I think everybody, I don't draw judgment on them because that's their decision. That's not mine. I got to be responsible for me.
Greg, you've been around for a while. What is Urban Meyer's, and when people ask you what is his, you've probably been asked this before I walked up, what is his legacy as a coach, as an actual coach? Obviously he's going to stick around in some other role, but what is it that he brought to football in your mind that makes him different or special?
Well, you can, if you said football, you immediately go to the schematic stuff he's done, right? The spread offense, all the things he's done in the kicking game. I mean, he's really, really a fine special teams. But I think if you say what's his legacy, it's all the young men that he's coached over the years and what they're doing out in the world. And as coaches, that's really what, at the end of all the wins and all the games and all the bowls and championships, all that, your legacy is those players. And as a head coach, I get a lot of, as an ex-head coach, I get a lot of texts from my players that I coached over the years, that out of the blue, you may not have talked to them for 5 years, and they hit you up and, Coach, thanks for this. It really, it had a huge part in my development, and this just happened. And that's what really, that's the reward that people don't understand. It's not this, hoisting the trophy, as much as it's that personal, you changed a young man's life, and in turn, his family, his kids, everything.
You've dealt with this, of somebody taking a shot at you, or shots at you, basically unfounded. How do you ever step past that, do you think? I mean, what Urban had to deal with this year off the field?
Oh, it's tough. I mean, it's the age, kind of, to your question again, it's the age we live in. So you don't really have a choice, right? Unless you don't want to live. And I want to live, so just keep going. Keep going.
Greg, on the topic of guys sitting out bowl games, I think you might have a different or a unique perspective on it, having been on the other end of being an NFL draft evaluator, being in those rooms. Do you think it matters if you're in the NFL and you're evaluating guys? Do you think that decision, either way, play or not, matters when you're evaluating somebody?
It all depends who the player is. I mean, the NFL is purely a business. What gives us the best chance to win? If that player, if there's other issues, then that becomes something to put weight on. If otherwise it's a really solid man and a really solid player, no. It all depends on, when you look at, as an NFL coach or a GM, you look at a player, you look at the total body of work, everything they've done, who they are, and then how do they fit into the club. Do they fit into the club? Will they help? Will they make us better or not? And those decisions are truly business.
I'm going to answer this question. A lot of people now think if Dwayne Haskins Jr. was to step out, he'd be probably the highest evaluated quarterback for the 2019 draft. Just from what you've observed in practice and in games, is he special? Is he that elite talent?
Well, I can't comment to what the NFL thinks or any of that. I think Dwayne is an elite player. I've known him since he was this high. He's a Jersey kid. And I'm just really happy for he and his family, because he had quite a year, and he helped us have the success that we had. And again, those are all individual decisions.
When a guy like you says elite, what does that mean from a coach who's been in college and NFL? What does that define elite?
Well, he's an excellent quarterback. He's smart. He's accurate. He has touch. He can throw the deep ball, all those things. All the decisions that he has to make and all these guys have to make, again, I keep going back to it. It sounds cliche, but it's an individual decision. I mean, and only the individual can know all the reasons behind it.
Greg, who are some of the young guys that have really flashed in bowl practice, I guess, either side of the ball, but especially defensively?
There's actually quite a few. I'm encouraged in the secondary. I think Seven Banks is doing some really good things. He got that club off mid-season, and he's really improved. He could be the next big-time corner here if he keeps developing. We talked about Dallas Gann a little bit ago. He's excellent, going to be an excellent player. Pope is going to be, I think you look at those young guys. Taraja Mitchell, he's already playing on the punt team, but he's going to be a phenomenal player. And then all the young D linemen. I think we have a group of freshman D linemen that are as good as I've been around as a group. So, their progression, their development as they get more and more time. I think there's, at all three levels of the defense, there's optimism.
What happened with Baron Browning, sort of the second half?